Well, greetings to you all on this fine Tuesday. Hope our power up here today finds you well. Trust that you had a good start to your week. Yesterday being Monday, and hopefully it all went well for you. Beautiful day yesterday, and it's getting more beautiful every day. You see the leaves changing colors, all that good stuff there. And so, hope you had a good day yesterday. Look forward to the day today. I think there might be a little bit of rain, is what they're saying, potentially in our future here, maybe even today. But we'll see. I would encourage you get out there, enjoy that cool fall weather, and it's just beautiful outside. It's great to it's a great time of year. Love it. Anyway, I want to encourage you hit that share button so that others know that we are live, and would love to have you have you share us with your friends so that your friends can jump on and all that good stuff there. Also, love having you comment, so be sure and comment throughout the video, no matter what time of day you're watching. Please comment as well. Okay, now we're in James chapter number 5, this final chapter of James, and this book has really gone quickly, and we've come down to the end. We'll probably finish it this week, and then we'll get into our next study, and look forward to that. Okay, let's look James 5 and verse number 1. The Bible says, "Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days." And James is just giving a warning here, a warning to the rich men of society at that time, and I think it's a warning for us as well. You consider what these individuals had worked their whole life for. They'd worked their whole life for money, to for themselves. We note that in verse number 3 at the very end, it says, "You have heaped treasure together for the last days." And so they've gotten all this money together for retirement. And James is not saying, "Hey, don't prepare for your future." That's not what he's saying here. But he's just kind of giving us a picture of what that money looks like and what that means in relation to eternity. He says in verse number 2 that the riches, they're corrupted. He says that they are moth-eaten. Your garments are moth-eaten. And think about this, how much money we spend on clothing, and even maybe the expensive clothing and all of that, and what ultimately happens to it. It gets ruined. It's moth eaten. It does not last, and yet we spend a lot of money on that. He says in verse number 3, "Your gold and silver is cankered." It means it's got the wear of time upon it. It says, "And the rust of them shall be a witness against you." And so, what happens to all of those things, the things of this life, is the thought here that James is portraying is that it does not last. Okay. Now, James is not saying don't prepare for the future. He's encouraging these individuals to have a proper focus upon life, upon wealth, upon the attainment of things. He says in verse number 1, I think this is even more telling than what happens to our possessions and all that. In verse number 1, "Go to now, you rich men," he says, "weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you." You think about it, the things that we attain in this life, some of them, obviously a blessing, and we seek to attain some things, and we prepare for retirement. But at the end of the day, doesn't matter, rich or poor, famous or unknown. It doesn't matter what we look at, young or old. Death is going to come to us all. And really, those things that we've gotten in this life, what do they mean uh, in relation to eternity? And that's what James is trying to say. He's trying to just paint a perspective for us to look at and to observe that the things of this life don't last, and at the end of our life, the weeping, the howling, the misery that we will go through, kind of as we pass from this life, as our bodies break down and so on, we're all the same. We all will come to and meet our death day. The Bible says it's appointed unto man once to die. Now, I don't want our power up today to be negative, like wow, thank you, Pastor. I'm just starting work today. Well, what's the point of me going to work and making money? None of it lasts, all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying don't work. What I'm trying to say here is let's have proper perspective. And we are to be living in light of eternity and living for eternity. And God blesses us, but we don't want the material blessings to become the sole focus of our life, because they just do not last. Okay? Now, look at verse number 4. He says, Behold the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, the hire, the wage, the payment. Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud. And so, really, what is this individual? They've kept back the payment of the laborers here, and so we've got. These rich men have ill-gotten gain. They have not treated those that have labored for them correctly. He says, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of the Sabbath. That Lord of the Sabbath, obviously being the Lord, being God. And these mistreated workers here are crying out to the Lord of the Sabbath. And let's look at verse number 5. Ye have lived in pleasure on the earth and been wanton. Ye have nourished your hearts as in a day of slaughter. Ye have condemned and killed the just, and he doth not resist you. Now, kind of closing things out here. I know we see the warning to the rich here about the focus being upon the things of this earth, how they don't last. We then see really the heart of the rich that James is addressing here. They have mistreated those that are not of their class, if we can put it that way, of the labor. They've mistreated them. They have not paid them. And we see that word fraud given there in verse number 4. And the Lord hears the cries of the poor, hears the cries of those that have been mistreated. And you look at verse number 5, it says about these rich individuals, ye have lived in pleasure. What does that mean? They've had everything they've wanted. Ye have lived in pleasure on the earth and been, look at that, and been wanton. They've been wanton. Ye have nourished your hearts as in a day of slaughter. They've got everything in this life they want, yet still look for more. Doesn't that sound like even the rich of our society today? They search everywhere, looking for pleasure, looking for really the what they can get out of this life, and they get all they can all they get, and they walk over whoever they can. That's not always the case, but sometimes it is, and they're able to get what they want, but they don't have anything. They're always looking for more. They're always looking for what's next. You take, just for example, the Hollywood crowd, or I'll say this: take the Washington D.C. crowd, the political elite. They're just trying to get all of they can, and they don't care who they step on. They're continuing to try to satisfy their selfish desires. And they cannot, because the things of this world only satisfy temporarily. They do not last. And we find that even these individuals, they look in other places for satisfaction. And you look at the sickness and perversion of our world today. Where do they look for satisfaction? They look to drugs. They look to alcohol. They look to immorality. and even satisfying themselves, even with immorality, but also with young people and all of that kind of thing. And you hear about it on the news, and so I'm not telling you anything new, but they're looking for satisfaction in everything except for the right place. The only true satisfaction, contentment, and joy come with a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And that's what our world needs. And that's the only, Jesus is the only individual, the only relationship that can satisfy us through Jesus Christ. It says, "Ye have condemned and killed the just, and he doth not resist you." And so we see this mistreatment of individuals trying to satisfy their own gain. Now, listen, I think personally, let me give you just a couple of closing thoughts here. You need to prepare for your future. Okay, you need to save money, invest money, and so on. And there's nothing wrong with having things in this life, but that ought not to be our focus. Our focus ought to be on laying up for ourselves treasures in heaven. Now, does God bless? You bet He does. And so enjoy the blessings of God, but let's be mindful. Let's be mindful of the realities of this life. Our life is but a vapor, as we read in James chapter 4. And we noted that last verse in James chapter 4, "Therefore to him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, to him it is sin." And these chapters, they tie together very good. The shortness of life, the doing what's right with the time that we have, and the treatment of people. So very important, as we read in chapter number 5 there, of how the rich, their mistreatment, their defrauding of the hirelings. And so just a couple of observations there for you today. Trust it was a blessing, and we're going to go ahead and sign off this morning. And I would encourage you to have a good day. And when I say have a good day, say, hey, how do you make yourself have a good day? It's your response to the situations of the day, and how you respond will determine whether you have a good day or not. Listen, life's full of up and downs. Sure is. Life is full of good and bad. How we respond to it makes a world of difference. Okay? Let's welcome those who have commented live. Be sure to hit that share button if you haven't done so, and comment live once, or comment throughout, even if you're watching the recorded version here. Cliff and Karen, thank you for being on today. Brian and Cindy, good morning to you. Gene, good morning to you. And you're getting rain this morning. I think we're supposed to get some, I'm not sure when, but enjoy that rain. I love the sound of the rain. I'd open the windows and all that good stuff. Love the rain hitting the ground and so on. Ingrid, good morning to you. Love you and have a great, great day. Ruth, thank you for being on as well. Have a good day today. Lord bless you all. We'll touch base again tomorrow morning. Also, don't forget services tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. Our adult Bible study, we're going to pick up in Genesis. We started our lesson, did not finish, so make sure you bring back that handout from last week. We'll finish that this week and look forward to our time together studying the book of Genesis. Okay, Lord bless you all. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow.